Hey everyone, Pufuu here, and I'm a member of the Squid Research Lab. We here at the SRL-RL are simply fascinated with the analyzation of every confidential report shared to us regarding the mysteries of Alterna. Even though story mode was briefly covered during the direct in a quick 1-minute segment, there's still a whole lot of things we can officially confirm and uncover. And in today's video, we're breaking down of Splatoon 3's most anticipated additions.
Return of the Mammalians.
Geez, I said that really dramatically. But from the obscurest of facts, features, and plot, we're covering everything you never knew about story mode. We'll start off with some quick facts. One, Splashdown makes a return, but this might just be a single-player exclusive special only. 2. Little Buddy acts as a sub-weapon in some stages, requiring you to launch the poor thing like a bomb. 3. Deep Cut will play a part in the game's story mode as spotted in the official art with the 3 masks, each representing a shark, manta, and eel respectively. 4. Here's Callie Marie's reaction after meeting Deep Cut for the first time presumably. 5. We get a quick glimpse at what may be a new boss Agent 3 must face. More on that later. 6. Balloon, goal, time, and special only challenges are confirmed to make a return. 7. Alterna is confirmed to be located in the Splatlands, as stated by Shiver themselves. And finally, based on the several clips given, we can piece together a general idea for how the story will progress starting off in the Splatlands desert, likely after the tutorial. Then our player gets enlisted by Cuttlefish where we carry out our duties to collect the Zapfish. Then DJ Octavio's intervention happens, which can either act as a World 1 or World 2 boss, or neither, but he ends up aggravating the fuzzy ooze located in this clip to collapse in on itself, sending our players alongside Little Buddy and Cuttlefish to descend into a giant hole. Giant hole. Our player then gets separated from the group and ends up in Alterna, where we meet Agent 1, 2, and 3. They do their little pose and introduction, then we're instantly sent off to find various rocket parts, as these levels feature Agent 3 wearing the specific gear which only happens after we fall down the hole. At one point or another, we are given back our initial gear, and around this time, Deep Cut makes their presence known, which Callie and Marie react to as so. And in this clip, we can see Agent 3 wearing the jacket once again, so Deep Cut won't be introduced until a little later on. After a while, it looks like we collect enough parts to power the rocket and remove the rest of the ooze. And during this process, we can spot a collection of what seems to be a bunch of golden eggs or power eggs stored in a vessel. Eventually, they end up hatching or mutating into whatever these things are. Beyond this part, the plot gets pretty blurry, but we can hopefully assume that our Inkling will ascend to space and reach the moon, where the final battle takes place. Heck, the moon even makes an appearance during the Splatfest. Not that it means anything, but speaking of Splatfest, the final boss will likely involve a tri-color battle. It'll probably end up with the Inklings and Octolings battle against the bigger opposing force, so depending on which species you assign Agent 3 to be, you'll be fighting with green ink if you're an Inkling, and purple ink if you're an Octoling. That's all speculation though. Or is it? I mean, when have I ever gotten anything wrong? Anyways, onto some more insane stuff you missed. The maximum amount of power eggs you can earn has been increased to 99,999. This is significantly larger than Splatoon 2's amount, capping at only 9,999. With such an increase in power eggs, there must be an abundance of weapon upgrades we aren't made aware of yet, with the exception of the hero shot of course. We also got an official look at one of the bosses, well, at least the stage in which we battle them at. Take a peek at the surroundings and you'll notice some very particular imagery. There are air pop-ups scattered around the stage with old VHS TVs in the back, and computer parts in the front. The boss stages still take place in circular arenas, so That kinda stinks, but what's more intriguing is how our player enters the stage. Notice this terminal that we pass? It doubles down as a sanitization station too. Our player gets sprayed with some sort of strange mist, probably to clean off that fuzzy ooze. But that confirms that kettles are gone, so no more mindlessly inking air until you hit something invisible. You'll also be collecting both the zapfish and what appears to be rocket scraps throughout the varying levels, but within those levels might be several challenges you face. Let me explain. Notice the strikingly similar aesthetic across all these clips? Those lanterns, lighting, background, and fit? That leads me to believe that the way we progress stages with rocket scraps will require us to complete many individual challenges to obtain one of several scraps. Like in this lantern level, we deal with timers, balloons, and special orientated areas. It looks like our weapon changes throughout the level as well. Perhaps every checkpoint brings a new challenge for Agent 3 to tackle. Next up, some theories that could potentially tie together who the final boss may be, or at least some sort of important plot point that'll be addressed. Okay, so before we jump into some major theories about the final boss and plot, be sure to subscribe to the channel with the bell. Alrighty, moving on. During the direct, Judd was spotted in the lobby, but Little Judd is no longer there. He can still be somewhere else in the lobby, yes, but it seems bizarre to not place them right beside each other. And that leads me to believe that Little Judd will have quite a significant role in story mode, explaining his absence. Though you may be asking, how come he still judges turf war battles if he's up in Alterna? That I cannot explain, but his new look clearly has some sort of correlation with the fuzzy ooze. And if anything, Little Judd is quite revengeful of Judd. The relationship chart even states he has an identity crisis, so, there's a pretty valid reason for him to be evil in some sort of capacity. But leading into my next and final point, Alterna is Little and regular Judd's home. By that, I mean his birthplace. In Sunken Scroll 26, we are told of the capsule, which is tightly locked behind a vault containing old world relics. If anything, it looks like Alterna is some sort of massive storage facility holding human junk, and the official Twitter account even detailed the place as containing imitated structures attempting to replicate a bygone era. Alterna is littered with human relics, like Easter Island Moai statues, the Venus statues, bleachers, cars, plastic human organ models, and more. The presence of all this stuff further solidifies the fact that Alterna is the same vault where Judd and Little Jud emerged. Although the footage originates from Calamari Research Labs, as stated by the scroll's description, in Scroll 25, Cuttlefish alludes to Octo Expansion's event or location as the Cape, so it's not uncommon for Nintendo to alter names of previously mentioned things. Some more on the capsule. The professor's message to Judd reveals a ton of info that could explain why the Octarians are fuzzy in Scroll 27. The professor basically tells Judd to re-energize the capsule if he ever feels lonely, which in this case, Judd or someone else does and creates Little Judd, which ends up being mutated. Notice the two keywords here, re-energize and mutation. Basically, what I'm implying is that Little Judd, being the mutated identity conflicted kitty he is, ends up re-energizing the capsule with a purpose I cannot give right now, and this process seems to require a lot of golden eggs, which explains why there's a massive vessel containing them. Could Little Judd be Mr. Grizz? Probably, but that's a theory for another day. Anyways, the capsule ends up making mutated Octarians somehow, which will be explained when S3 releases, hopefully, but in short, the capsule is the corporate for the fuzzy ooze, and the one operating it is Little Judd. This theory has some gaps in it and might not even be correct, but it's worth pointing out. They did state that ROTM was the finale in Splatoon saga, so the final plotline that needs some tying up to do would be Judd, Little Judd, and the Professor. Well, we've reached the end of today's video, so I hope story mode was made a little bit more clearer for you. And be sure to subscribe with the notification bell on, so you can catch up on my next theory video covering Salmon Run. Also leave a like and comment while you're at it, it would mean a ton. Until next time, Pufuu, offline.